Welcome to Top Advisor Marketing, where you will learn how to become a prolific online influencer, attract more ideal clients, and grow your practice. Brought to you by Top Advisor Podcasting, a done-for-you podcasting solution built just for trusted advisors. And now, your co-hosts of Top Advisor Marketing, Kirk Lowe and Matt Halloran.
Hello and welcome to another Top Advisor Marketing podcast. We love having repeat guests, especially ones who've been super fun on the show previously, and even better, the ones who have their ear down to the proverbial marketing train track. That is something that we all want to pay attention to. Seth Greene, founder of Market Domination LLC.com, is our guest again, and I'm just going to be peppering him with some questions. Seth, welcome to the show, my friend.
Thanks so much for having me back. Always a pleasure to be on your show. And now I got to live up. Now I got to be fun. I don't know how to pull that off, but we'll see.
Well, I'll try to help.
Now I'm trying to remember what we did the last show that you think was fun, so I could do it again.
It's been a little while, even though that actually I was just on your show. We recorded that yesterday.
Yes.
But I want to ask you some questions, brother, because I know that we're kind of in the same space. We do some of the similar things, but you have some products and services that we obviously don't offer, and you have a different perspective, right? So, what are you seeing in your clientele right now that is really working, not just in this COVID environment, but this virtual environment we seem to have been thrust into?
Okay, so we're recording this at the height of the first year of the COVID pandemic. I'm going to put that out there so it's timeless, because who knows how long it's going to last, right? My crystal ball is a little murky. So one of the things that we have found, we're recording this before the election, the presidential election of 2020, and the cost to generate a lead, for example, on Facebook ads has gone up significantly because of all the election spending. And our ads get lumped into, because they're financial related, generating prospects for financial advisors, they get lumped into the financial/political realm, which means they compete with all the election money. And in the last couple of weeks, our cost per lead has dramatically gone up and our number of leads generated has gone dramatically down. So we have stopped that program temporarily until the election's over. So obviously we've been doing other things for them this whole time. So those have taken more of the forefront now, that Facebook ads in particular have become quite cost prohibitive. They were increasing throughout the pandemic since March because everybody went virtual, right? Every financial advisor who was doing seminars and can't do them now, a lot of them have switched, I'd say 80% at least, have switched to webinars. So you can't go 3 scrolls on your news feed without seeing another ad for another webinar. You can't do the same thing as everybody else and expect to stand out. A couple of the things that are working really well for our advisors that are timeless, no matter what, our podcasting program, as you have one as well. Ours is focused specifically on getting accountants, attorneys, other professional centers of influence to be on our clients, the advisor's show. We then turn the show into a book. We promote the book. We host a monthly, now virtual networking meeting of everybody in the book that the advisor leads, and we coach them through that. So that still works because more people, as you pointed out so eloquently on my show yesterday, more people are listening to podcasts now than ever. As I told my wife, whose podcast her second episode records tonight, she's not a financial advisor, she is a mommy blogger. I said to her, this is the new ground floor of podcasting. And she's like, why'd you say new 5 times? That's annoying. And I said, no, it's because it keeps changing.
Yes.
The original ground floor of podcasting 10, 15 years ago, every couple of years, there's a new resurgence, a new billion, couple 100 million people find podcasting and think it's new. Mm-hmm. So that's why I said it's a new. Yeah. We'll see how many drinking game for everyone watching. Every time I say the word new, you got to take a shot.
Come on.
You can't try it home.
They got to make it through the whole podcast, brother. They're 10 shots in already. So
they're probably at the hospital by now. So don't do that. Maybe half a shot, a sip of your beer.
There you go.
All right. So the podcasting model that generates centers of influence to drive accidental referrals is working really, really well. That always has, always will. Our LinkedIn campaigns are working better than ever. Because if you think about it, so many people changed jobs.
Yeah.
They got furloughed, they got laid off, or they decided if I'm going to work from home, I can go work somewhere else.
Right.
I can work virtually from any company. I don't have to stick with this boss I don't like. So our LinkedIn job changer 401k rollover campaigns are working better than ever before because so many people have changed jobs. Our other LinkedIn campaigns are working also better simply because people are checking LinkedIn more than they used to.
Yeah.
Because they're paying attention now, because even if they didn't switch jobs, they might think, just in case, maybe I ought to, even if I have a limiting belief and I only think of LinkedIn as a resume, maybe I ought to punch it up and update it. I haven't touched it in a while, just in case, which means they're more ripe to receive our advisors' messages.
Well, and so I'm going to back you up on a couple of things there. So first off, we have seen an increase in LinkedIn traffic. So those of you who pay attention to that stuff. But so I don't know if you were purposely ambiguous here, but the job change 401k search is probably one of the smartest things any financial advisor could ever do. And I know that you have some secret sauce there, and I'm not asking for your secret sauce, brother, but I am very interested in what else you're doing outside of that. So besides looking for job changers, how are you using the LinkedIn search algorithm to uncover ideal clients for your clients?
Sure. So we, as you do, use LinkedIn to get guests for podcasts as well. The other way we're using it is not just for folks who have changed jobs. That's a low-hanging fruit, obviously. But the higher network, we have a program where we're using it to get them in front of accountants and attorneys, not for a podcast, but for a referral relationship meeting. We got that from Elevated. We created that for the for Elite Resource Team, ERT. Anton Anderson and his partner out there, we created a done-for-you version of their program that's working really well. And we've also used it to get referred down the food chain. So if you do 401k business, you probably want to talk to the CFO or the VP of HR, depending on the size of the company. However, if you go straight there, you get rejected a lot. We've got a waterfall campaign where we go for the CEO first. And I won't give you the secret sauce, but it specifically gets the CEO to forward the message to the CFO or the HR saying, hey, you should be talking to Matt, talk to Seth. And then Matt thinks he's supposed to do whatever I say. And so Matt takes the meeting, which is first hurdle overcome. And second hurdle, he thinks the CEO has some implied endorsement of me without realizing the CEO was blowing me off.
Dude. I love how your brain works. That's freaking brilliant. I never in a million years would have thought of that. And I love how you just said that is basically the people, the waterfall, the people underneath the CEO are absolutely going to look at that as the CEO and basically endorsing you as a person because they're saying you need to talk to this person. That's awesome. I want to back up one more spot because here's the thing. Your COI system is the most complete COI system I've ever seen. Okay. Not only is it the most complete, but it is the most engaging because you're truly building a relationship. Now, I know that we talked a little bit about the book system that you guys have with Market Domination on our last podcast, but hell, I don't know how long ago that was. Would you mind telling everybody just a little bit more about I think that's probably the best thing. Let's talk about who should use it and then how it's used. Go.
Sure. So financial advisor, insurance agent, or RIA, you should be, I would prefer if they were doing at least a few $100,000 a year in production or revenue, however they define that. I want them to be able to afford to sustain it because it's not an instant win. It's not mail this seminar piece and you'll have people show up tomorrow, next week. It's a long-term play. So it might take 6 months to a year. They've got to be able to sustain that. So that's number one. Number two, you asked the question, how does it work? We have a 5-step method. I'll go through them really briefly. The letters are DREAM, dream. D, define your advisor target market. You're an advisor. Who's your end user, not just an affluent baby boomer, right? That's not big. That's too broad. Number two, we reach out for you and get them to say yes. We lead with the podcast. That's E, engage. We do an audio podcast, a video podcast. We do a social media. We do a blog post, and we do a book, which we alluded to. A, then we activate them because they are handing the book out to their clients because it's an ego stroke for them. They're handing it out going, look at me, I'm fabulous, I'm in this book. The client sees the book written by advisor with attorney in it. Client picks up the phone, calls, and says, my attorney told me to call you. Not true at all. But that's what they heard when they were given a book. They said, oh, I do need a second opinion. My attorney gave me this book. He must like this guy. This guy must be good. I should call him. But the noise is, oh, the attorney said to call me. Awesome. Perfect referral. And then the activate and monetize. Activate is get them to hand it out, get them to email about the Amazon book launch, all that other stuff, share the podcast. And then the M is monetizes in, stay in front of them on a regular basis so that they keep handing books out every single month, driving more referrals your way.
Now, what is your at bat ratio here, brother? So you go up to bat with a new financial services professional or insurance agent, and you're having them build the CPA relationship. How many CPAs do you generally contact before you get people who are like, dude, I totally want to be involved in that?
Okay, so we have two versions of the program. We have one version where we get them relationships with 10 to 12 CPAs, attorneys, nursing homes, whoever they want, depending on their target market. Then that's a 6-month program. And then we have a year-long program that is 52 relationships. So it's still the same 10 or 12 CPAs or attorneys, but we also do a weekly podcast where they're interviewing other people. Some of them are their existing clients to get a testimonial that you can't really use. And some of them are to get them sharing the podcast with their friends, which is, hey, I heard my buddy on your show and he sounds really happy. I should talk to you. It's a way around the you can't use testimonials rule.
Okay. So you said something that brought a very sly smile to my face, which is it's not an instant win. And we talk about this all the time, Seth, because good marketing is something that takes time, persistence, and also just the overall eye on the prize, the long-term vision. And if I stick with you for 12 months, which by the way, of course, really good marketing really does start gaining momentum 9 to 12 months, right? That's how the whole system works. How many people come back to you and want to write another book?
I believe we're at like 96, 97%.
Okay. I wasn't prepared for that number.
We have a really high retention rate. We've had 3 or 4. We have a very small number of advisors who flake out, drop off, or cancel. Everybody else is happy. The reasons why we failed, I think, are important, and I'm happy to disclose those so we don't do them again. One, we had an advisor in Podunk, Colorado. Population like 800. I did not know that ahead of time. He was our first advisor in a tiny town. I didn't know any better, and we took the money and we worked on it. We worked for 6 months and we struck out. We got him like 4 interviews. And we finally realized when we kept doing research after research, we're like, there just aren't that many accountants and attorneys in this. What the hell is the population of this town? And we figured it out. And I said, oh my God, I'm so sorry. We can't get you anymore. I will just give you your money back. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So tiny podunk town won't work. Then the other 2 other lessons we've learned. One, we had another advisor, great right out of the gate, 4 interviews booked right away. I get angry phone call. My account reps get angry phone calls from the accountants going, nobody showed for the interview. What happened? I'm sitting here waiting. I call Leslie. Leslie, what the heck? I'm too shy to do this. I chickened out.
Oh my.
I'm like, if you don't want to talk to people, A, how are you in business? But B, why'd you sign up? We told you were going to talk to people.
Yeah.
So that's now a disclaimer in our slides. If you don't want to talk to anybody, don't hire us. And then our third one has been, let's see, we had the small town, we had the too shy. I thought we had another one. And oh yeah, the guy ended up in losing his license and going to jail.
Oh, yes.
Because he stole his client's money and ran off. So don't do that. We can't help you there.
Do you have that disclosure on one of your slides too for presentation?
We do now because I did. It's funny. I didn't know this. And I did a webinar for a group of fractional CFOs, not financial advisors. Like I come in and run your CFO, your financial department, part-time type of thing. And this is apparently a thing now. And I do the presentation and then they're looking at near the end when I'm making the call to action and stuff. One guy's off on I can see the conference room. They're all in the same room. This is before COVID, obviously. And one guy's off on another computer and waving people over. And each one slowly gets up and walks over to his laptop. And I'm like, why are they not watching the screen? Why aren't they taking notes? And so I stopped. I'm like, what's going on, guys? And they said, are you aware that the guy, one of your case studies, is in jail, lost his license, all this? I'm like, no, what the hell?
Oh my God.
And they're like, that may explain why he didn't return my call a month ago.
Wow.
About why haven't you opted for book 2? And I said, okay, I didn't think to disclaim that. And I didn't think that we needed to keep vetting our existing clients to make sure they weren't running to Tahiti with your money. So don't do that.
Don't do that either. Well,
Other than that, it works.
Yeah. Well, I love the fail forward thing, right? I mean, that's one of the things that we have to do as business owners is we have to cast the line out, and sometimes we don't catch anything, and sometimes we catch the wrong thing.
Wrong
but
fish.
What you have done, which I love a whole bunch, is you have created this model that allows financial services professionals, which includes insurance advisors,
Yes.
to self-select, right? And we love that. That's that whole idea of niche. Now, you said something else earlier that I thought was fantastic, which is done for you. When we built our program here at Top Advisor Marketing, Kirk and I kept saying, advisors are so tired of people telling them what to do. What they really want is somebody to do it for them. And now you're at a different level on that. So let's talk about the depth of the done for you. And I want everybody to understand, publishing a book was one of the greatest experiences and worst experiences of my life. All right, so I published 2 now. The first one was with a publishing house. The second one I self-published. And to be honest, if I knew that Market Domination and Seth Greene existed, I never, ever would have done my wife told me, I think I said this to you last time, but my wife told me I'm not allowed to publish another book. But if I say, hey, I got this guy, right, who's going to help me with it. Let's talk about you being that guy and helping people bring their thought leadership to book form.
Sure. Well, first of all, I'm not the guy. I have 36 awesome team members who work for me. So I'm not doing all the work. So you got a bunch of guys. Actually, we have more women than men. But anyway. All right. So you got a team. So that we do two different types of books. One book is the interview book, is the interviewing the CPAs and attorneys and other related professionals. You do the interviews that we set up for you. We get all the guests. Then we turn that into a book. You don't actually have to write anything and you end up with a book. And that purpose of that book is to generate referrals. The point of having those 10 to 12 other people in it is so they have a vested interest in promoting it every single month to promote themselves. I talked to a woman 2 days ago who was in a book by one of our advisors that came out 2 years ago. And she got one of our drip letters going, hey, you were in our client's book. And she said, I'm so glad you kept dripping on me. I'm still getting clients from that book from 2 years ago that wasn't even my book. She's like, I'm one chapter. I'm an attorney, but I keep getting calls. I want to have my own book, so I get all the calls. And we said, awesome, that's the point. So we do all the work. You end up with a book and referral relationships of 10 to 12 professionals you otherwise never would have gotten in front of. Or if you have folks already that you can put them in the book and they'll send you a lot more referrals. So that's book 1. It's designed to generate referrals. Book 2 is we ghostwrite your autobiography. We interview a dozen times or more. We write your first person autobiography as if you wrote every word first person. We don't take any credit for it. You're the author and you have a business autobiography book. Now you're the only one who's going to care because you're the only one in it. So that's the street cred, ego. This is my message. This is the lead magnet I give away to get people going, oh, Seth is awesome. I read his book. I got to hire that guy.
Yeah.
So that's not designed to generate referrals. That's designed to get people to want to do business with you directly.
I have found that very few people have read my books cover to cover.
Yep. I've had people come into my office as a financial advisor because I've been a producing rep for 20 years, still am. I've had people come in with the shrink rep still on. And I'm like, you didn't even read it. Like the first time I argued and I should have shut up. I'm like, you didn't even read the book.
Yeah.
And the guy was like, my friend gave it to me. You wrote a book. I read the back cover. That was good enough.
Yep.
I'm like, well, could I just written the back cover then?
That probably would have saved you a bunch of time and a bunch of money. But I love the idea, but because I happen to be a big fan, and I actually have a book goal that, by the way, you and I have actually talked about. But I love the idea of having that as a calling card, right? I mean, it's one of the most
ultimate business card.
It's the ultimate business card. Yeah.
My first law, the reason why we started a marketing firm to do it for advisors is because my very first book worked so well for me. In my beginning phases of my career, I landed $100 million union pension fund account with it because all the other 7 advisors pitching had business cards and I had a book and they said, you're the guy who wrote the book, so you must be the best. And I was like, I'm 23. I don't know anything, but awesome.
But
I'll take your 100 million and
absolutely.
made my career.
There you go. So I'm assuming if people are continuing to listen, which by the way, 94% of people listen to an entire podcast. I just want everybody to know that. So if you're one of the 94%,
82% of statistics are made up on the spot.
Yes, and 75% of the times I do that. So what? I
think we hit our fun fact.
Yeah, we did. If somebody wants to go ahead and reach out and find out more about who you are and what you do, what should they do?
MarketDominationLLC.com. Okay. There's an awesome sizzle reel on there of some of our accolades and results. And then right next to that, there's a little form. They fill it out. It goes right to my calendar and they can book a 15-minute strategy session. We won't charge them for it if they come from you.
Okay. Well, thank you for that. I do appreciate that because that is a huge value. Just by what you were talking about, especially with the dream model, really helping people focus. You and I are very, very like-minded. We don't have a cool acronym like that. That's a good acronym, by the way. I really like that.
Thank you.
Now, what isn't working? I'm going to put you on the spot here because you not only kill it with this, but you're also know because you have your own podcast. You talk to other people. You're on a whole bunch of other podcasts. What if you could tell advisors right now to not make this misstep? What would it be?
There's a bunch. I would say biggest marketing sin is being boring and looking just like every other advisor. Number 2 would be a poorly defined target market. You cannot help any baby boomer with money. That's not who you serve. And number 3, I would say I would do something different with your Facebook ads right now so that you don't get lumped into the financial political category and get overcharged.
Gotcha. I have to say, a lot of what you said today was stuff you and I have talked about in the past, but I had no idea about the Facebook stuff. I had no idea that we in financial services would be lumped in with
because all our ads are about the market and protecting your money or investing differently. So the market is a political topic.
Oh, jeez. Wow,
which normally does not affect us at all, right. But every 4 years, apparently we're going to get our butts handed to us September, October, November.
Yeah. And boy, are they dumping money in. All of my feeds are just ridiculous full of ads. All right. So everybody, just to wrap up today, if you've ever wanted to write a book, right? If you want to do the lead gen, the center of influence thing that Seth is talking about, or if you want an autobiography written, listen, here's the thing. Let them interview you. Oh my God. Trying to come up with this, the outlines, the book proposals, all of the things that you have to do to be published by a big publishing house is really, really, really difficult. Plus,
we own our own publishing company to publish all of our clients' books. So you will be published by a real publishing company with a real imprint. And it's funny you mentioned that because my very first book I wrote myself because I didn't know any better. I hadn't come up with this process. Then I started doing the interview process. That's books like 2 through 8. And now it's funny because of our reach, we had a big publishing house reach out to me about publishing my 9th book. And they don't want an interview book. They want it literally business book written, how to. And I am coming up with a better way to do that because I started writing the first couple chapters, typing every damn word myself, wanted it like you did.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, this sucks.
Yeah.
So I'm like, we should have our own team interview me to ghostwrite my own real non-interviewee book specifically for that, because writing it yourself, every word, it's painful.
Yes.
It's very painful. The distance from your head to your mouth is much shorter than your head to the keyboard.
That's correct. And what I have experienced, and I know you have too, because this actually happened on the podcast that we did yesterday, when somebody who is genuinely interested in who you are and what you do and what makes you unique and different, when they ask you questions, you might come up with something that wouldn't have gone from your head to your hand into the keyboard.
Exactly.
I love that aspect of it. That's why I get up every morning. I get to interview really awesome people like you. I get to learn something from somebody new every day. Oh my God. Yeah. I feel very, very grateful. And the greatest gift you can have as a podcaster is when somebody says, wow, Matt, that question that you asked me, I never thought of it that way before.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we have that every single time, like the accountants and the attorneys, we've done follow-up marketing going, hey, what'd you like best about that process? How did it work for you with our advisor? And we get so many responses of, I love that I got to talk about myself for so long. I thought about how I got started and how I got here and what's made me successful. And I really got to take a step back and look at my career and the clients I've served. And I never have done that. And I felt really awesome after the interview. And I had some ideas about where I want to take the next phase of my career. And we're happy to serve.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Seth, it's always a pleasure. Thank you, brother, for being on the show today.
Thank you so much for having me. MarketDominationLLC.com. This has been Seth Greene on the Top Advisor Show once again.
And you guys really need to call. You need to look at this stuff. You need to look at the sizzle. Go to the website. If you've ever wanted to write a book, this is really the best way to do it. Or if
you'd like more referrals from accountants and attorneys without asking them.
Well, that would be nice too. I mean, doesn't everybody want that though? Isn't that kind of the secret sauce that you're able to kind of sprinkle all over the goodness of the hamburger?
I hope so.
Yeah. Okay. So go to MarketDominationLLC.com. Also, please God, follow Seth on social media. He's always posting super awesome stuff. And again, if you would like to have your name on a book with other people who you want to have in deepen relationships with, or if you want the autobiography, or soon, I'm going to keep your feet to the fire on this one, brother. Somehow to write that business book that you're going to have your Pete team interview you and ghostwrite so that you're really creating even another kind of book that's out there that's even better. And I'm going to keep your feet to the fire because guess what, brother? That's what I want to do. So we're going to talk more about that. So for Seth Greene and everybody here at Top Advisor Marketing, we'll see you on the other side of the mic very soon.
Are you ready to change the way you communicate with your clients? Are you tired of being the best kept secret in your area? Learn how to become a prolific online influencer, attract more ideal clients, and grow your business. Contact us today and see what the power of podcasting can do for your business. Click on the Contact Us link on our website at topadvisormarketing.com and set up a call to learn more. Follow us on LinkedIn and Facebook for more updates and information.
This was brought to you by Iris.xyz, a platform helping financial professionals become better in business and life through new media and new voices. Visit them and learn more at iris.xyz.